Welcome to Mondo Thingo.
Tonight, why is John Cleese going virtual reality? What's the new reason to go pole dancing? When did rich kids suddenly become interesting? And how do mini Kiss rock and roll all night long?
Hello and welcome to Mondo Thingo, your one-stop shop for celebrity news, music, films and those pop culture essentials to help you get through another week. And believe me, I know how hard it is to stay up to date with all this stuff. So let's get right to it with a few of the showbiz stories I couldn't keep away from this week.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles. Oh, yeah.
Tell the young folks today that the Beatles were bigger than Britney, they just won't believe you. But when they played the Ed Sullivan Show on their first US tour, 73 million TV viewers tuned in to watch.
And as George always reminds us, less crime that day than any other day in America.
Now, previously unseen footage of that tour has been released on DVD.
Hello. Hello, John. How are you doing? I'm all right, thanks. How's yourself? How's your dad?
No Yoko, no Linda, no John and Paul bickering, just four carefree lads reinventing popular music.
It's a great memory, one of the high spots of my life.
And that coming from the man who wrote Mull of Kintyre. Moving on to Argentina and a sellout crowd at the first night of Number 10 Between Heaven and Hell, which is the story of Argentinian soccer legend Diego Maradona, told as a musical. Yes, Maradona the musical. First nighters were surprised by the depiction of Maradona's high living and sexual indiscretions. So perhaps with a little tweaking, it could be staged here as Warnie the musical. Maradona didn't attend the opening night because he now lives in Cuba, recovering from a soccer legend-induced drug addiction. Oops, spoilt the ending. The Royal Ballet in London is preparing for its new production of The Prodigal Son by George Balanchine, and rehearsals are going well. Oh, that's enough culture, isn't it? Yeah, good, move on. At the traditional Academy Awards luncheon held in Beverly Hills, Oscar nominees are trotted past the cameras in a spectacle that looks not unlike a country cattle show by Armani. Then there's the also traditional group photo. Tim Robbins was there for his role in Mystic River, and as he does, Tim took the opportunity to speak out on something of national importance.
The kids are not going to be destroyed for seeing Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl. I mean, if anything, they're just going to be curious about whether that's what all nipples look like.
I'm sure most high school kids are up for doing extra homework on that one.
Easy for you, Amanda.
Oh, Shirley, they are gorgeous. Mondo Thingo gets its first bunch of flowers.
Oh, they're not for Mondo Thingo.
Ah, look, I'm sure they're addressed to me, but really, they're for Mondo Thingo.
No, really, they're for Strictly Dancing.
Strictly Dancing?
Yes, they rated their socks up. They've got truckloads of those things in there, so they're just giving them away. Oh, I'd hate to work on that show with a pollen allergy.
You want some flowers?
Oh, George, thank you.
Next intro, Amanda.
Oh, here, give me those.
3, 2.
Remember the movies Street Fighter or Super Mario Brothers? Of course you don't, no one does. But movies based on computer games are back in play thanks to the massive cinema success of Tomb Raider. And computer games themselves make such huge money that they're now actually affecting the way movies are being made. So even if you don't play computer games, you really can't avoid them, as Hollywood goes gaming. Video games are traditionally the domain of hunchbacked geeks with abnormally long thumbs who forgo human relationships to sequester themselves in darkened rooms filled with empty pizza cartons. But as games become more and more lucrative, the cliché is changing. Stuart Clark is the editor of GamePro magazine.
So we're now in a situation where interactive games are earning more than the box office. Obviously that doesn't include DVD sales and rentals. Even so, the numbers are really big.
Those geeks have bucks, and Hollywood loves exploiting a disposable dollar. But in the past, films made from games have not been shining examples of their craft.
We did the right thing.
Games and movies. It's almost sad.
Gaming legend Chris Crawford joined pioneering video game company Atari back in 1979.
The games people are desperate to to get some of the glamour of Hollywood, largely because most of the people in the games industry are ugly nerds. And they look at the Oscars with the guy with the starlets on his arms and they say, oh, I want that for me.
So the ugly nerds created their dream date. Lara Croft, with her tough girl persona and implausibly large bosoms, was the first game hero to successfully backflip the chasm between video game and multiplex blockbuster. Keith Boesky is the man who convinced Paramount that Lara could open a movie. He's recently set up a gaming division of Hollywood talent agency ICM, which aims to bridge the creative gap between movies and games. Among his clients are directors John Woo and Peter Jackson.
Well, we'll have a more integrated product in a game where we'll have the writers from the film working on extensions to the story that happen in the game. If we have sequels to movies, we'll have a film, and then in the off-film year, we'll have a game, and then in the sequel year, we'll have another game where we continue the story.
We're in. 2002's Enter the Matrix game was written and directed by the Wachowski brothers, who also wrote and directed the movies. While the game broke new ground both technically and creatively, it was rushed out to match the film's release schedule and was full of bugs. They should have learned. In 1982, an Atari executive bought the game rights to blockbuster movie E.T., expecting to cash in on the Christmas market.
They gave the programmer 10 weeks to design, program, test, and perfect one game. Guess what? It bombed, and that one game pretty much ruined Atari.
Gaming technology has come a long way since the adrenaline-filled days of E.T. dodging weird trenchcoat guy. So is the integration between film studios and gaming companies. This year sees another instalment in the James Bond franchise. 007, Everything or Nothing, is the first time movie actors and writers have been used to make a video game that will never be a movie in its own right.
I provided you with a device called a steering wheel, 007. Perhaps you should try to find it.
Ah, the old Q-Lab.
Hollywood actors are now proud to have games on their CVs. Ray Liotta is Tommy Vercetti, the computer-generated star of Grand Theft Auto Vice City, the biggest-selling computer game of all time. Vercetti has gained such cultural cachet that he was named by USA Today as one of the 6 most influential stars of 2002.
Way to go, tough guy. Beat him to a pulp.
And as Hollywood influences games, so games are influencing Hollywood.
Conventions of games are beginning to affect the way in which certain films are made.
Katie Salen is an academic who writes about gaming and culture.
Well, one interesting example is the film 28 Days Later, and one very interesting structural read of that film is that it was designed like a platformer game. So it's this idea that you play a level, and then you achieve a sort of goal, and then you get to go to the next level.
Split screens and pop-up windows used in movies like Phone Booth and Hulk are also straight from games. And there's a pretty simple reason so many movies are looking like video games.
I think that we've got directors and filmmakers who are gamers. Robert Rodriguez with Spy Kids 3, or even Once Upon a Time in Mexico, look like they came from a video game. And it's because Robert's a gamer.
You know, there wouldn't be too many homes in Australia that didn't have a hairbrush. Well, maybe Peter Garrett's. But how many would have a hairbrush like this? This is a hairbrush with lustrous blonde hair where the bristles should be. And I know what you're thinking. Blech! But don't worry, no one actually scalped Anna Nicole Smith to make this. The hairbrush is actually the fevered brainchild of a design team in Berlin called Bless. And they produce items to leave in upmarket hotel rooms for the amusement of guests. Personally, I think I prefer chocky on the pillow. And don't hold your breath for the toothbrush made of real pubic hair. Now, also in the broad area of grooming, we've had the nasal trimmer, we've had the beard trimmer. Now there's this strange device. It looks like a pen, but to be honest, I don't think it's that useful. It's a ball trimmer. And apparently, men in the US rate it the #1 ball trimmer on the market. It must be a guy thing, because I've tried it on all these balls and it hasn't made a scratch of difference. Well, it took a little bit of fuzz off the tennis ball, but not so to improve your game. And you know, a guy using this thing while you're trying to watch television would just be really annoying. Now, someone who could probably trim off a little bit of fuzz is bearded film director Peter Jackson. Right now, he's deciding where he might put his Lord of the Rings Oscar and working on his next project, which is a remake of King Kong starring our very own Naomi Watts, presumably not as Kong. Now, hopefully Peter will buck the bad remake trend, but here's a reminder of why it pays to be careful when reworking an old favourite. If it worked the first time, Hollywood often says, "What the hell, let's do it again." In 1998, Gus Van Sant baffled the world with his shot-for-shot remake of the thriller Psycho. He said he wanted to bring a new generation to it with a contemporary cast. Instead, he sent many movie lovers back to the Hitchcock original. Made in 1960, Psycho set a series of murders in the now iconic Bates Motel, and it shocked audiences with its suggestion of casual sex.
Why don't you call your boss and tell him you're taking the rest of the afternoon off? Friday anyway, and hot.
What do I do with my free afternoon? Walk you to the airport?
Well, you could laze around here a while longer.
Of course, it also shocked for other reasons. The film was made in black and white because Hitchcock thought it would be too gory for colour, especially the classic shower scene.
You should have seen the blood. The whole place was, well, it's too horrible to describe. Dreadful.
Psycho is possibly the most influential thriller ever made. And while it's no longer as sexually provocative or as blood-curdling, it's still a masterful work of atmosphere and suspense. In 1991, Martin Scorsese unleashed his full-blooded remake of Cape Fear, starring Robert De Niro. Original stars Robert Mitchum and Gregory Peck make cameos, but they're only a slight distraction from what's best described as hoopla. In contrast, John Lee Thompson's 1962 B-movie Gem is genuinely unnerving because of what goes unseen and unsaid. Certainly, Robert Mitchum's understated bad guy menace is much more frightening here than De Niro's pyrotechnics.
You getting warm, counselor. You know, when I was in the bucket, all I could think about was busting out and killing somebody. I wanted to kill him with my bare hands, slow.
Also adding to the atmosphere is the moody photography and Bernard Herrmann's classic score. Cape Fear should be essential viewing for all modern filmmakers. Maybe Scorsese should take another look. In 1993, director George Sluizer made The Vanishing, starring Jeff Bridges. This unconvincing thriller with Bridges playing a snarling psychopath did a quick vanishing act from theatres.
This can be easy, or this can be hard.
The irony here is that this was a remake of director Sluizer's own 1988 French film, also called The Vanishing. This was a deeply disturbing thriller about a young man's search for his girlfriend after she mysteriously disappears.
Non. Et j'espère que ce monsieur m'écoute. Il y a une chose que je veux lui dire. Je veux vous rencontrer. Je veux savoir ce qui est arrivé à mon ami.
Yet again, the original works because of its understatement. Instead of the overblown Bridges, we have a villain whose menace is in the fact he could be someone we know. This is a riveting mood piece with an ending so effective and memorable that the Hollywood remakers obviously had to change it. See it and be haunted for days.
But does anyone even read Couch Potato?
Well, but she is the most read TV columnist in the country. I'd have thought we would have got a mention.
Well, we would have, except she's such a pedant.
Well, meaning what?
Well, meaning there was a tiny little mistake in the press release and she got so annoyed by it she refused to run with the story.
Mistake as in?
As in we called you Amanda Kennelly 3 times.
But it was only in that one press release.
And on my dressing room door and my parking spot.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, look, Amanda, that was all last week and we've really ironed out all those bugs. So are you ready to go with the next intro?
Sure.
OK. Amanda Kennelly, link number 4.
Like me, all little girls go through a phase of wanting to be a pole dancer. Don't they? Well, it certainly has a chrome-plated allure, and now even nice girls want to give it a go. Yes, gone are the days where women only installed poles in their homes to attract firemen. Now it's fun for celebrities and good for those abs as the newest must-do workout. Pole dancing has arrived. Pole dancing is starting to leave behind its sleazy nightclub image and move into the mainstream as the next fitness craze. It already has the celebrity stamp of approval. Kate Moss, Rachel Hunter and Danny Minogue are all giving it a go. And if the rumours are right, Jennifer Aniston and Madonna have even installed poles in their homes.
I think pole dancing was the original Pilates. I think it's been around longer and women, their bodies look better and it's more enjoyable.
Bobby is one of Australia's foremost and fittest pole dancers.
I find pole dancing more an adrenaline rush than anything. When I perform, when I'm doing pole dancing, it's very satisfying that I can do something acrobatic that people are watching and going, wow, she's actually very skilled and very talented. It's also a great workout. At the end of each show, I feel fabulous.
A big part of Bobby's business is teaching aspiring professional pole dancers how to swing it. But she also has a growing number of private clients from all walks of life who want to try pole dancing for reasons of their own, whether it's just for fun at a hen's night or as a fitness option. Vanessa is one of Bobby's private students. No rumours this time, Vanessa actually has installed a pole in her bedroom so she can practice her pole work at home.
Bobby's been teaching me pole dancing on and off for about a year. I haven't been doing pole dancing for a while. I've just had a baby, so I'm getting back into it now, and I think it's going to be great to get my body back into shape.
Probably what we'll start off with today is that very first move that I taught you. You go around.
And then join it up with the second one?
Yeah. And we'll just take it through slowly, step by step, and then you just tell me how you're feeling, and then I'll add on to it, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Do you have sugar?
Yeah, 2 sugars, thanks.
I primarily do it as a form of a workout. I don't like the gym, it's really repetitive. It's just a bit different. It's using your whole body, and you're kind of learning a skill rather than just doing a repetitive movement.
Yeah.
I've still got my concentration face on. Pole face. Pole face.
But what does her husband think of the pole in the bedroom?
It's definitely more for me than for him. I mean, it's not like I come home every night and do shows for him or anything, especially because a lot of the moves you need a lot of concentration. Bobby makes it look fantastic and smooth and easy, and you know, she's always smiling and stuff, but in real life it's much harder and you get funny faces going on, so it's definitely more for me.
You want to?
You make it just look so graceful. I feel like a big elephant.
No, you don't. You're not really good.
I totally recommend it as a form of exercise, but it's just like anything, you know, it takes a bit of practice and anybody could do it, any body size, any age, whatever. I think it just takes practice. It's heaps of fun.
I'm thoroughly addicted to pole dancing. It's my fitness workout. That's what I do. It's also my business. It's also my job, and I enjoy it, and I'm very good. I've reached the top of the ladder of what I'm doing now, so I just find things keep getting better and better and better week after week, and I dread the day I have to give it away.
The very quotable Dorothy Parker once said, if you want to know what God thinks of money, just look at the people he gave it to. And thanks to some new reality TV shows, we can do just that.
What do these friends have in common besides fame, fortune, white-hot sex appeal?
Last week on Channel 7, The Simple Life plonked super-rich party girls Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie into a humble, Prada-challenged rural community so reality TV hijinks could ensue. Plucky Paris and Nicole have to survive here with nothing more than a couple of behind-the-camera stylists working hard to keep them looking as much like aliens as possible.
Where are pig's feet? Who the hell eats pig's feet? Pig's feet? Ew! Barf. Ugh. Okay, what else? Bottled water generic. What does generic mean? Do you know?
Didn't Ava Gabor already do this in Green Acres? This is part of a wealth-watching trend, and MTV has joined in with their own reality show, Rich Girls. No fish out of water here. This is 100% pure rich girls doing rich girl stuff. Ali is the daughter of fashion designer Tommy Hilfiger. And Jamie, well, we don't know, but her family wealth allows her to devote herself to a life of introspection.
You know what I find is weird, kind of, Ali? People pay money for clothes, okay? But shouldn't it be like a free necessity like water because you need it?
while Ali plainly has a questioning mind.
That is kind of cool. You know, this is very, what's that chick name? Barbarella.
Who's that?
Barbarella was Fonda, Jane Fonda.
Who's that?
With this week's pocket money alone, these girls could bail out an impoverished African nation. Or they could just go shopping. Yes, let's do that, even though it can be quite dangerous.
Help me. No, it hurts. Wait, it's all good?
Not reality TV at all, and so much more real, is the documentary Born Rich. Not yet seen in Australia, this was made by Jamie Johnson, the young heir to the Johnson & Johnson fortune. Jamie talked some of his well-heeled friends, Vanderbilts, Bloombergs and Trumps, into breaking their cardinal rule: never talk about your money.
There's nothing worse when you see these jackets with these lapels that go like this, you see, are low riding. Clinton wears this kind of thing. Have you seen? It looks like a restaurant owner. It's so vulgar.
All this blabber-mouthing scandalised the big money crowd, and Luke Vale, heir to the Autotote gaming fortune, didn't help things with comments like this.
I can just say, fuck you, I'm from New York. I can buy your family, piss off.
He just needs a hug. There are rumours that Luke wasn't quite himself when he did the interview, and he sued to try and stop release. But, like they say, money can't buy everything. Of course, the idle rich aren't the only people who parade around in bizarre attire for the delight of the ordinary folk. These days, you can't go to a sporting event without seeing someone dressed as a mascot. Crows, dragons, hawks, lions, all the garden nuisances. So take anyone who has a polyester allergy out of the room, and our roving reporter Steve Kinane will take us into the dry clean only world of the mascot.
Even the most boring sporting event can be turned into something special just by adding a guy in a big furry suit, or to use the technical term, a mascot. And since they're usually made out of polyester and padding, it's obvious that mascots aren't born, they're made. A lot of them are made by this guy, Ivan Reppen. Ivan's the mascot's mascot. He's been a wolf, a fire-breathing dragon, and he was rugby league's original Balmain tiger. But it's not as easy as it looks. There's more to it than just dressing up.
So, Ivan, if I want to be a mascot, what do I have to do?
OK, well, the first question I would ask you is, are you happy wearing a suit? That's the first step.
Yeah, no worries, Ivan. I don't mind putting on a brown suit.
Are there any rules about being a mascot?
Well, the main one is you don't talk.
Oh, really?
You don't talk in costume. The second one is you don't take any part of your costume off when you're in public. In Disneyland and most other theme parks, it's actually a sackable offence.
Is this thing meant to be in here?
How lucky can one guy be? I kissed her and she kissed me.
So this is not just a job for you, is it? That's obviously a passion.
Yeah, it's probably more a lifestyle than anything else.
Is there an element of fantasy at all about being a mascot?
There is an element of fantasy about it. Yes, you get a chance to do something you're not normally. But then again, it's totally reversible. You know, when you want to become human again, you just take the suit off.
So you spent a lot of your life being a tiger.
Yes.
What have you had to do to project that character of the tiger?
Well, I've actually done a little bit of research about how big cats move and behave. And because I've done felines for quite a while, I start to think like one, even when I'm not in costume, which is getting a little dangerous.
The word mascot comes from an old French term meaning witch, and to this day, mascots add their own special brand of styrofoam magic. And there are times when Ivan has needed all of that padding.
Crowd started to get ugly, and I actually started getting full beer cans lobbed at me.
Did you pick them up?
I picked them up, yes. There was about half a dozen of them, I think, eventually, and I picked them up and carried them off the field with a big smirk in his direction.
Ivan's full of helpful hints, like make sure you know where the dunnies are, keep your fluids up, always check the area for obstacles, and watch out for pesky teenagers. They've just got no respect. And make sure you try and make the TV news if any pollies are out on a meet and greet.
Thanks very much. How are you, pal?
It's great for your self-esteem being a mascot. You get treated like a rock star. And after a big day in the cat suit, you smell like one too.
Well, that was quite an experience. I was treated like I've never been treated before. Everybody loved me. And it's time for a beer, I think. Cheers, Tiger Tim.
Well, Well, it's time to go, but because you've all been so good, I'm going to leave you with a little extra something. The lower-profile late-night talk shows in the US basically have to survive on the Letterman and Leno guest leftovers, like the Jimmy Kimmel Live Tonight Show on their ABC. Kimmel was a stand-up comedian, and his Tonight Show has a fairly rowdy reputation. And adding to the mood of one of his recent shows were very special guests, Mini Kiss. Mini Kiss is a Kiss tribute band whose members are all little people. And really, who doesn't like a little kiss before bedtime? Bye for now.
And is Kiss the only band you guys do?
Of course.
No Village People or anything like that?
Come on, man. We want girls.
And the month of us at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival.
On me? The Glass House. Friday nights.
Let's stand up!
What have we got? The unexpected.
The cleavage there? Sorry, I just got distracted. I just wanted to swipe my Visa card.
But be warned.
I am a sex addict.
Sorry about that. That was a bit rude. Anything can happen on Stand Up. 10 o'clock tonight.
The following program, Mondo Thingo, is rated M for mature audiences. It